Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Zuhair Azmi, and today I'm going to show you a simple but powerful tool to create and assign tests. The tool that I'm talking about is called Testmoz.com. So let's head over to the browser window and type in Testmoz.com. You will be taken to the home screen, and here you will click on Build a test. You might be wondering as to why we are not selecting the login or sign up option. Well, the reason for that is that option is only for the paid version. However, I'm going to take you through today the free version, which is also quite powerful, and there are pretty neat features which could be sufficient for many teachers to assign tests. So for the free version, we don't have the option of logging in or signing up, and we go to build a test straight away. When you click on build a test, the first thing that you have to enter is the test name. So I will name my test sample Testmoz test. We then need to choose a password. You can select any password, numerals, alphabets, however you want it, and then click on create test. You will be taken to the test dashboard, and here you have to complete all the tasks starting from 0 all the way up to 4. So starting from 0, and this is one of the most important things to do. Bookmark this page and write down your password. It is absolutely critical that you do this. There is no way to recover the URL or password. So this is one of the cons of the free version, that you have got no option to recover any forgotten credentials. So in order to take care of that, what I do is I go ahead, copy the test URL and put them into a Google Sheet which I have created for this purpose. So here I will enter the name of my test, which is sample Testmoz test. I then need to save the URL, so I just click Ctrl C, Ctrl V. The password that I have selected for this test and the passcode, I'm going to explain that later on. So once you're done with these things, we move on to adjust settings. The test name, we could leave the name to what we had selected earlier, or we could choose to change it. The introduction field could be left blank. You could, however, write some instructions if you would like to. So here, just let us type welcome. You have got a few color schemes to choose from. I'll stick to the default color scheme. The language for the Testmoz student interface, you could either select that or leave it to detect automatically. If you do plan to choose the language, you will see that there are only 5 languages: English, French, German, Hindi, and Spanish. However, you could assign your tests in any other language as well. So you could assign a test in Arabic, for instance. Under question settings, we have got 2 options. Either we choose to show all the test questions on one page, and this is the recommended settings for new users of Testmoz. However, you could take the other option, which is to show only one question per page. And if you click on that option, that opens up many other settings as well, and you can go through them as you wish. Here for our sample test, we will select the easier option, which is to show all the test questions on one page. We have also got the option of randomizing the order of the questions. So if we keep it checked, the questions will change their order for every student. However, if we deselect this option, the questions will remain in the order that we have entered them in. This takes us to the review settings, and under review settings we have got the conclusion text. This text will appear after the student has completed his test. So it could be anything like best of luck or whatever you choose. It could also be left blank. It's not a compulsory field. Next, we have got the option of showing a custom message if the student passed or failed. This again is optional, and I personally prefer to keep it deselected. However, if you do want to show a custom message, you could select this option, which will ask you for 3 fields. One is the passing score. So let's say 50%. So now, if the student scores 50% or higher, he will be shown the pass message. If his score falls below 50%, he will be shown the fail message. This is if you are choosing to show these messages. However, you could keep this option deselected as well. At the end of the test, display the user's score test outline, and there are three more sub options under test outline. Here again, you have got complete freedom either to select or deselect these options. So if you would like to let the student know what he has scored, and if you would like him to know what were the correct answers for the questions of the test, you could leave these options selected, or you could choose to deselect them. The next set of settings fall under access control. You have got the option of deciding who can take your test. So you could either leave it to anyone or anyone who enters a passcode of my choosing. So if it is left to anyone who has the URL of your test would take it. However, by selecting the second option, you limit it to only those people who are given a passcode from your side. So if you do choose to select the second option, you should definitely save your passcode also, lest you forget it. The third and fourth options are only for the paid version. So under the paid version, we have got the option of assigning a unique identifier for every student or saving their names with email addresses. How much time do test takers have to complete the test? You could either give them unlimited time, which is not very much suitable for a test. So I usually time my tests. So let's say we give them 40 minutes within which to complete the test. So once the student starts his test, the countdown timer will start and the student will not be allowed to enter any answers after the timer has run out. How many times would you want your students to attempt the test? You could limit that too. So if you leave it to unlimited, any student could do the test an unlimited number of times, but if you want to limit that number, you could put the number of times that you would want them to do that test. So if you just want them to do that test once, only one attempt, you can enter the number 1 or 2 or 3 as per your preference. Now, how do you identify the test takers? What message do you want to give them? What do you exactly want them to put in? That is what could be entered here. By default, we have enter your name. However, I like making a change in this and I go for enter a name as per school records. Well, some of my students have got really long names. Some of them prefer using their nicknames. So in order to remove any sort of confusion, I make my instruction very clear and I ask them to enter their name as per the school records. The next set of settings, which is the browser functionality, is only for the paid version, so we don't need to check them out. If you decide purchasing the paid version in the future, these will work for you. So finally, the final setting, and that is the notifications, and this one again is only for the paid version. So if we are using the free version, we do not get any notification when any of our students complete their test. The only way to check whether they have done them is by logging into our account and checking the test results. So once we are done with all the settings, we click on save, and that brings us to the next step, which is to enter our questions. So click on insert and you will very easily notice that there are two categories of questions: graded questions and survey or ungraded questions. The survey or ungraded questions are exclusive to the paid version of Testmoz. So in the free version, we have got the option of only graded questions, which means we could not use the free version to send out a survey. In graded questions, you have got 6 different types of questions. 5 of them could be self-graded, but the last one, the essay type, will have to be manually graded. So let's look at each question type one by one. The first one is multiple choice, choose one, and the second one is multiple choice, choose many. So if your question has got just one correct answer, you will go for the first one. So let's enter a question. So how many continents do we have? Then we can enter the choices. The correct choice, we need to choose the correct option. As this is a multiple choice, choose one type of question, we can choose only one correct answer. So we choose the correct answer. We could assign whatever number of points we would like to. So by default, it is 1 point. We will leave it to 1 point. Now let's go for the second question type, which is multiple choice, choose many. So which of the following are Emirates of the UAE? So let's enter our choices. So Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Dibba, Al Ain. Of these, only two are correct, Sharjah and Abu Dhabi. The number of points, since we have two correct answers here, so let us give 2 points. And at the bottom, if you notice, you have an option called give partial credit. So when you check this box, if a student chooses one of the correct choices, he gets partial credit. In our example, since I have assigned 2 points for a completely correct answer, if one of my students chooses only Sharjah or only Abu Dhabi, he will still get partial credit, which means he will score 1 point for this answer. If he chooses both the correct answers, he will get the full 2 points. So let us leave this checkbox selected, give partial credit, and move on to the third question type, which is true or false. So the UAE is a continent. We have got only two options, true or false. Let us select the correct option, assign it 1 point, which is there by default. The next question type is matching. So here you can give any number of pairs to match. So let's say we can add as many pairs as we want. So let's add some more. And now for the other column. Now we need to match these correctly. So let's match them correctly first. So Riyadh will go for Saudi Arabia. Muscat is Oman, so let's make it 2. Manama is the capital of Bahrain. Okay, Kuwait City is the capital of Kuwait. So let's make this 4. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the UAE. So UAE will be number 5. And Doha is the capital of Qatar. So Qatar is going to be number 6. Well, for this question, let us assign 6 points. And again, give partial credit. So if we keep this on for whatever number of pairs the student matches correctly, he will get credit. He will not lose all of the 6 points. Now here we have got the option of shuffling the answers during the test. So this is on by default. If you do not want the answers to be shuffled, you can deselect it. So if you deselect, every student will get the same order as we see on the screen here. However, for this one, I usually like to keep shuffling on so that there is no chance of two students copying from each other. The next question type that we have got is fill in the blank. So this is our question. The capital of the UAE is blank. The correct answer has to be entered here. So we have entered the correct answer, Abu Dhabi. Now, if the student answers anything other than Abu Dhabi, it will be marked as a wrong answer. If he enters Abu Dhabi exactly with its exact spelling, his answer will be counted as correct. Here we have got an option of case sensitive grading. We will not select this because if we do that, then even a difference in case will matter in order to decide whether the answer is a correct one. So for example, if the student answers Abu Dhabi with correct spelling, but he does not write A and D capital, he will lose the point. So I don't want to be that strict, so we deselect the option of case sensitive grading. Now we are left with the final question type, and that is essay question. This is the only question type which cannot be graded automatically. So let's say write an essay on the National Day of UAE, and let's assign this question 5 points. The answer type is essay, which means this question will not be graded automatically. So once the student turns in their test, you will have to grade it manually. So now we are done with all the question types. So let's complete our test. If we scroll back to the top, you will see the number of questions that you have in your test. So there are 6 questions, all of them graded with a total of 16 points possible. Questions will be shuffled during the test because we had selected that option in the beginning. So now that we are done with our test, let's go to the next step, which is publish. Before pressing the publish button, we have got an option of previewing our test. So you can go to preview your test, click on preview, and here you have got the question. So see, our test is ready. The number of points are mentioned next to every question, and the questions are in jumbled order because that is the option we had selected. And as you can see, all the questions are on one page. Once the student answers all of them, he will have to press the submit button and the test will be submitted. You can see that the timer is running beneath. We had assigned 40 minutes, so the countdown is on. Now let's go back. This is how the test is going to look like. When you press publish, the test gets published for the students. The passcode, we have saved it already. You will have to tell the students this passcode. You could either email it to them or tell them verbally in class, whatever way you choose to, but they will not be able to attempt the test without the passcode. The current status of our test is open, and this allows students to take the test. So we are done with even publishing the test. Now for the results. So once the student takes a test, the results will appear on this page. So let's go ahead and take the test as a student this time. So as a student, I'll just click on this URL and I will enter my name as per school records. I will enter the passcode, and the passcode is case sensitive, and I'll click on start. Now let's answer the questions. Of course, this is an essay type question, but we are just doing it as a test. I mean, testing out the test. Now let's do this matching. As you can see, the options are jumbled. And I will deliberately make some mistakes here, just so that we test out the partial credit feature. So once we are done, press submit. And because I had selected the option of revealing the score, so I can see my score now, 8 out of 11, 5 possible points pending. These points are for the essay type question, which will have to be graded manually. So you could see over here, I have got 4 options right. So I have got 4 out of 6 points. Here in the fill in the blanks question, I had typed Abu Dhabi. So that's a big spelling mistake because of which I lost that mark. So it is Abu Dhabi. And the essay question, no points have been assigned yet. Now what I do is log out. So now when I go to the teacher's portal and click on results, you can see that the results are visible. Now for the ungraded question, what I'll have to do is click on the name of the student. Let's say the National Day is celebrated on December 2, 1971. So let me just give 2 points for this question. You have also got the option of modifying the points for those questions that are auto-graded. So for example, if I consider this as just a spelling mistake and I feel that the student actually means to say Abu Dhabi, I could go ahead and give him a point here too. So once I'm done making the necessary changes, I click on Save Changes, and with that, the grading is complete. So now you can see that the student has got 4 questions absolutely right, which are colored green, and then there are two questions that are partially right. And the total score displayed here, the total time that the student took to complete the test, at what time he started the test and finished it, all these details are visible here. We have also got the option of exporting the grades to CSV format. However, one drawback of the Testmoz free version is that the student will not be able to see his test later on. So the only time that he has got to see his test is after he has finished it, but he cannot store a copy of it with himself. The other drawback is that parents will not have access to this test. So if you are okay with not having these options, then the Testmoz free version is quite a good option to test your students. So I have taken you through all the steps to create, assign, and grade a test on Testmoz. Thank you very much for your time. If you found my video beneficial, like it, share it with other teachers that you know, and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.